Hello, hello. It's Musa once again, this time post bans. Unfortunately, I don't have much to tell you about how the meta is after the bans. Everyone is like, Modern has been freed, let's say. So many people are testing again. We see so many different decks in the format. That's actually surprising. Even Burn made a comeback, which is actually very surprising. A deck that had been so much oppressed by the presence of a Flage has finally been released. And there are many people that say, if Burn is back in the format, maybe the format is healthy after all. Time will tell. Definitely we start to see the effect of a violent outburst because rhinos are back as well as Living End. Rhinos isn't such as much of a worry for me. I think it's a way fairer deck than Living End. Living End, on the other hand, is also back on the menu, stronger than ever, with many more tools. I do believe that we will have problems in the future, but time will tell. But I don't have much to show you regarding the leaks. I mean, there are some interesting leaks. There are so many interesting decks that people are trying to come up with. So I picked up this leak because actually there's a Living End in it and other things that I think are interesting. And let's get started, I guess. Round number 1, we're playing first. I'll keep this hand because it has Kyrian Ranger, which acts as half a mana dog, as I've said before, and we can combo the opponent off. So let's see what they're playing. They're cracking, they're going for black. Bolt my creature. Never happy times. I was very lucky to draw the second land, so we're okay. 2 colors, Leyline Binding, and at this point I realize that the opponent is probably playing Zoo. A dashed Ragavan. I'm not going to do anything to it, even though he got my Kyrian Ranger. And they decided to tap out. Now that was a big mistake, wasn't it? I mean, I was lucky enough to draw the Windswept Heath, but even if I didn't draw the Windswept Heath, I would actually go and play my Sylvan Safekeeper, and there were other plays that I could have. You know the rest, what's going on. Zuri is coming on board, and we are trampling them to death. Let's go to game number 2. Game number 2 against Zoo. The matchup has changed a bit because I do believe that playing against Flage with them was very, very difficult. Some things you should notice if you're playing against Zoo. Only one, Clarion Conqueror. Everything else you can deal with. So use your paths wisely. See, we got monetized. Amazing, right? I laughed when I actually got monetized. I was like, you deserve that. But it's okay. To be honest, I wouldn't keep it monetized against a deck that's designed to create mana like Elves. But the opponent got the got you, let's say, moment out of it. And here is another got you moment. Twice monetized. Have I paid for all my sins, whatever I've done in the past to anyone in Modern? It's okay. I got a bit greedy. I mean, it was the right play. I had to play the Eladamri in order to play off the top of my deck and make sure that I will be able to progress my game and put more creatures on the board because the opponent had only 2 cards. I also decided to path in my turn in order to avoid the counterspell. Anyway, my life total was very low. So that's it for game number 2, and we're going to game number 3. Game number 3 against Zoo. This time we're playing first. And Lush Portico is a great card, especially if they have a Leyline of Guild Pact on the board, because then Sanctify has protection from everything. They cannot take it away from with Leyline Binding. That bolt, I don't care about that. Here I decide to play a tapped Lush Portico and not to play my Cavern of Souls because next turn I want to be able to cast Sanctifier and my Lush Portico doesn't allow me to do so. Even though it seems that this is more of a green build for Zoo, it's a more traditional version of it. Therefore, my Sanctifier is not as effective as it would be in other matchups. They're attacking. Obviously, I'm not gonna block here because they're still playing lots of red removal. Here we go. Cauldron. Time to attack. By the way, here I made a small mistake. I should have tapped my Lash Portico instead of the forest. To leave the forest open. Not that it would change something, but still, it's better to do the right play than actually play it wrong. Because sometimes it's going to matter, and that's what you should always keep in mind. End of the turn, I'm putting the Elves Mystic under the Curion. I'm not putting it under the Sanctifier. And I draw my one-off Vizier. Here I had some choices. I was almost certain that the opponent had another counterspell. They had a counterspell. So I decided to play a bit more defensively and not throw away my Nature's Rhythm, even though that meant that my Vizier was in trouble. But still, I'm fine with it. I'm gonna make my Sanctifier bigger. This way it can start blocking. 2 mana, Tribal Flames. On the Vizier, I think this might have been a bit premature. I mean, whenever they see Vizier, they're actually afraid. That's what I will say. Here I couldn't attack because I had a Wild and a Cattle. And here I made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have let Nishoba Brawler land and then end step try to force a figure, because I gave them for Stubborn and Nile, I gave them Ferocious. So I had to do it in before that card landed. That was a huge mistake of mine. And here, because I don't run a second Vizier post-board, because I always remove them against red matchups, I had to go for Priest of Titania. They have 2 cards in hand. I have a Priest of Titania. I have a high life total, so Tribal Flames can deal up to 5 damage. Not right now, but still, I'm fine. At this point, I'm very happy to trade with my Sanctifier because I can't do anything anymore. So, Priest of Titania. I have 1 Nature's Rhythm in the graveyard to get my last Azuri. Here, I can't calculate mana for the love of my existence, so I'm actually overusing mana. Here, another Stubborn Nile. But we have another Nature's Rhythm on top. And this is why Lash Portico is in the deck. It fixes your top deck. This is 7 damage. They do have only one card in hand, but I cannot risk it to let it through. Even though the next card was a High Noon, which I'm fine with. Here it's time to build our defenses. And High Noon isn't such a great option against elves. At least that's my belief. Here I'm gonna pump with Azuri to try to clean the board a bit, and I'm gonna regenerate my creatures too, because why not? I have the mana, they didn't do anything. So here we are. Here I will play the Eladamri to have a safer play. And I'm just going to attack with my Azuri and my Curion Ranger. I'm keeping my Priest of Titania back at all times in order to be able to pump if needed. I'm on 7, which means in order to die to the burn spells, they have to draw 1 Tribal Flames and have 5 different lands, which they have 4, they don't have black. And they have to draw also a Lightning Bolt, which obviously they didn't. And that's it for round number 1. Let's go to round number 2. Round number 2, we're playing Fest again. That's a good hand for Elf Ball, but I'm going to keep it, right? Why not? And I see a guide. So, how is Synergy post-ban? The deck is still pretty strong. For us, for elf players, it doesn't make a huge difference if they have Flash or not, because the cards that you actually die to are Goblin Bombardment and Ajani, and these cards are still in the format. So yeah, not many things changed. They do not have a good mid-range plan now, but when it comes to elves, things are bad. Here I made a choice to go and get the Zuri. This might have been a wrong choice. It was probably a wrong choice. If I go back in time, I would probably go and get Priest of Titania, and then afterwards have Nature's Rhythm in the graveyard in order to go for a Zuri. Lots of tokens, okay, as long as we have a Zuri. That was a very nice draw. As long as we have a Zuri, we're fine. What did I say? As long as we have a Zuri. Guess who messed up? I didn't want to attack with that Zuri, did I? Especially when I have a Devoted Druid in hand and an Nature Rhythm in the graveyard. I mean, okay, I was on 13, but I wasn't dying, was I? There you go, another misplay of mine. 3, Seasoned Pyromancer, I don't care. I threw away the game as it is. Because Azuri gives trample. And this is what I need right now. They have tons of blockers, and because they have City's Blessing, there you go. City's Blessing, because of the Oslo Pride, they have blockers for days. War Master is useless in this matchup, and I threw it away. Oh well. Right now my only way out is pretty much drawing another Nature's Rhythm or a Chord or something in order to go and get Azuri. Tons of token, tons of mana, tons of life. But we don't care about life. Oh well, I threw it away. That's for you to learn. And me too. I'm getting pissed off when I see these games again. Postboard against Energy. This time I didn't mess up. This is a decent hand. You don't want to mulligan too hard. Large Portico I don't need it in hand. I wanted to draw it later or to fetch it because it's my choice. Guide of Souls turn 1. That's a very good sign. Here I'm not going to wait for it. I'm going to play my Devoted Druid and my Curious Ranger for many reasons. Not only because I have a Nature's Rhythm sitting in my hand, ready to go off, but because if they try to target my Devoted Druid using their Galvanic Discharge, I can use my my Devoted Druid's ability to do the untap twice and kill it, and so they don't get the energy counters. But the opponent tapped out. And do mind something. The current versions of Solitude that of Energy that I've seen are running Solitude, and you should always keep that in mind. So even though I'm going for the combo here, I do keep in mind that I need 2 attackers, not only 1. There you go. And I'm going to speed up the rest of the game, and this is why I played it like that. I'm going to untap with Curious Ranger also my Elvish Mystic in order to be 1000% sure that lethal damage will go through. And that's it. Quite an easy, fast and easy. We're going to game number 3. Game number 3 against Energy. Remember, we did throw away game number 1. I'm going to keep this hand because it has a Force of Vigor, because as I've told you, bombardment is one of the main ways to die nowadays. That one drop, that Llanowar Elf was a great draw. Ajani is the second biggest problem that we have. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. My only hope is that if they have a bombardment, I will be able to pitch my Force of Vigor and actually kill it, and the Ajani won't deal as much damage. That's why I'm also keeping a Curious Ranger in hand. But they just need a red source, don't they? And Ajani's legendary because everything has to be wrong with Ajani. Our 2-mana Planeswalker. Thank you, wizards. So, yeah, I can't do much. I do have a cauldron in hand. My force of vigor is pretty much useless at this point. So I hope that the last portico will actually help me get something on the top. I don't need another priest of Titania, I have another one in the graveyard, and I have a cauldron. Having a devoted druid is a good start. Here I'm trying to lush portico to see if I can find anything good. The Court of Calling on the top was actually very, very good, so I kept it there, hoping that I will be able to keep something alive. So many triggers. I'm on 4. And the attack with everything, and I can block, and it's game over. But keep in mind that I did throw away game number 1. Let's go to the next one. Round number 3, we're playing first. That's pretty much a great hand, isn't it? I choose to play Heritage Druid turn 1 instead of playing a fetch land and Lash Portico. Because many times the opponents are just saying Heritage Druid, Elves Heritage Druid, let's kill it, and they kill it, and I want that to remove a lot of the hands. But this is what we came for. The opponent's playing Living End. So let's see how this matchup will go. What did they pitch? Always pay attention to what they pitch. They pitched a Shardless Agent, and they did put a Force of Negation in the graveyard. I don't really know their lists as it is right now. I haven't learned them by heart yet. But we're in a very good way of 1 Force of Negation. Now it means that maximum they have 3 more, 1 subtlety out. Then we're very good. So end of the turn, I'm not gonna fetch. And here, I'm gonna cast a Cauldron, Force of Negation on my Cauldron. Attack. I didn't play the Nature's Rhythm on purpose, because with the new version of Living End, your Nature's Rhythm, you put the Vizier on the board, and in response, they can Violent Outburst. They can kill your whole board because you cannot sacrifice Devoted Druid anymore. You cannot get -1/-1 counters. So you're not in a very good spot. Here I conceded. Why did I concede? Because it was 6 + 3 9 + 3 12, 17 damage. So I did have to block with my Devoted Druid, which meant that I didn't have anything to do. That's why I conceded, and we're going to game number 2. Game number 2 against Living End. The sideboard is the same. We have pretty rich sideboarding. So many different threats and answers. End of the turn, I'm going to Lash Portico. What do we have? A Glue Flute. We do want that, don't we? That's something new for me to do, because Living End is becoming a problem. So I can proactively cast my flute, naming Living End, which means that even if they can skate into it, they have to pay 3 mana. I didn't cast it in my turn, obviously, because nowadays they have a new toy. It's called Wistfulness. So if they paid double green, they would be able to kill my Disruptor Flute. That's why I'm playing it like that, end of their turn, because they can also not Force of Negation it. The play remains the same. Devoted Druid, Llanowar Elves. I don't have anything to be worried about right now, because they cannot cast Living End unless they use a Boseiju, a Force of Vigor, or I don't know if they're playing the Evoke creature. My battery is always dying when I'm recording, isn't it? Anyway. Here I'm going to Lash Portico again, because I do need to fix my top deck. I do need things in order to go off. I see them fetching for red. It's 2 reds. 1, 2, 3. Isn't this a nice card? They can choose the mode they want. That was horrible, but it's okay. Still, the advantage of Devoted Elves compared to any other Elf Ball mono-green version of Elves is that one of your most important cards, which is Devoted Druid, you can put it in the graveyard very, very easily and go on from there. Look here. They're going to Living End, unless obviously they have how's it called, an endurance. And I did it wrong, didn't I? Oh no, I decided not to do it. I decided not to sacrifice my devoted druid because I already had a priest of Titania in the graveyard. Therefore, you look what I have reached the point where half of my deck is in the graveyard and can do things, and another half of my deck is on the board and can do things too, which means the opponent doesn't really have much choice, does it? Do they? This is also why the reason why here I don't try to kill the opponent's creatures. I'm just trying to regenerate, to keep my creatures alive. They're on 10. I just need to stay alive long enough in order to kill them. And because here my little friend, Charlotte's Agent, is actually an artifact, I killed it too. It can go to the graveyard and come back. I don't really care about that, do I? Here, I'm just attacking with a Heritage Druid. Because their creatures are pretty big, they're gaining life. I'm okay with that. They do have 5 cards in hand, which is very, very, very scary for me. Another little toy they have is called Vibrance. They paid double red, so they try to deal 3 damage to any target. That target being Azuri, which I'm not going to let happen. And this is a big hit, because each one of these is a 5/5. So I'm like, whatever. Let's just get over with it. Let's just kill their board. If they want to bring everything back, so be it. Here we go. They have been through 1 living end. Usually they run only 3 living ends. I don't know if their lists have changed. And here they decided to tap out in order to cast another living end. I did kill my Azuri here, you see. So here you go. Back comes the Azuri. Back comes the board. And do you see what I say? We have double devoted druid together with Azuri. I just need to stay alive, and I put another Azuri in the graveyard. So they don't really have many choices here. Whatever part of my deck they bring back, and whatever comes back, I'm fine with it. I just need to stay alive for 1 turn in order to be able to combo them off with devoted druid. And the best part of this combo, if something goes wrong and they're living it again for the 3rd time, and hopefully the last time, because they run usually 3 living ends, as I said, I'm still able to sacrifice my devoted druids, put them in the graveyard, and then bring them back to the board. Here we go. I'm just regenerating stuff. I don't really want to kill anything of this. I want them to stay in the graveyard with 3 Street Wraiths and 1 River Winder. 5 mana. 4 cards in hand. Whatever. Before I start, I even do 1 activation of Azuri to be sure, because sometimes it's a bit tricky to understand how much toughness the devoted druids have, and I realize that I have enough toughness in my devoted druids. So yeah, I'm activating. I do a double activation of Azuri, and then I'm ready. I have more than enough lethal damage, even through their food tokens. They gain 2 life, so be it. But they realize they're dead. That's it. Let's go to game number 3. Game number 3 against Living End. Even though it's very tempting to bring in Heroic Intervention because they're playing Brotherhood's End and the other red card which I haven't learned the name of yet, please don't do it. I think you can understand the obvious reasons I kept this hand. Not only do I have Drowning Magistrate, which shuts down their living ends, I do also have an Endurance, so they need double subtlety for everything to go wrong, if everything goes wrong for me. So here we go. Even though it's extraordinarily tempting here to cast my Devoted Druid and go for the kill next turn, I might not have that turn. So I'm actually gonna try to cast my Drowning Magistrate, which they had to subtlety it to the top of my deck using a Force of Negation. 2 good things at the same time, if you ask me. Curator. Okay. Half of the things that we're worried about, they're gone. Remember, Brotherhood's End needs double red. So far, I don't see the opponent having double red. Still, though, I'm going to play pretty cautiously. I'm not going to throw away my whole board. I'm thinking, could I cast Llanowar Elves? Definitely I could. But what am I going to pitch to my Endurance? That's why I kept my Llanowar Elves in hand. 1, 2. There you go. They're going to cast Vibrance. There you go. I'm going to learn the name of it in order to kill my Dranith. 5 mana, they don't have anything. End of their turn, I'm going to proactively cast my Endurance in order to clean the graveyard, because they only have 2 cards in hand. If they wanted to pitch their 2 last cards in order to subtlety my Endurance, so be it. So here it is. We had enough mana to Code of Calling, get Formidable Speaker, throw away my Priest of Titania just because I could, and finish them off with an Azuri. That's it. That's Living End. Let's go to the next one. Round number 4, Unknown Opponent. Now that was a very terrible hand that I kept. I thought that I should keep this hand because I had Venerable Catacombs and I could Lush Border into it. And because it had all of the combo, and I'm playing a 4-off and a Devoted Druid. Still, if you're ever in my shoes, please don't do it. We can see that the opponent's playing Storm though. And do I love playing against Storm or what? So, War Master. Right now, with perfect draw would be actually a Code of Calling in order to be able to. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm just sharing you what I was thinking also at that time. To be able to, code end of their turn, etc., etc. So here, we're waiting. Here we go. I should just score other things also like that, shouldn't I? The only bad thing, there you go, Past in Flames, and we do have an Endurance in hand. And this is one of the reasons I'm keeping Endurance in the main, one Endurance in the main. It's such a great tool. It can do so many different things. You can use it to clean the graveyard. You can use it as a blocker. You can pitch it, and with the trigger to sacrifice it on the stack, Code of Calling for an extra green mana. It's such a great card. But here the opponent will try to go off. They had lots of things in hand. I can't say I'm very happy, because unfortunately it's such a strong deck that can go off even like this. And resolve. Oh, I don't feel very good. Valakut Awakening. They put everything on the bottom. Another Valakut. Yeah, that's not a happy place to be in with an artist talent that can filter whatever they draw. Things are looking bad. Here we go. They're going to do a few little things. But still, I cannot concede, because if they don't kill me right now, end of the turn, I can Code of Calling for Devoted Druid, as I actually did. Even if they killed my War Master, I did have a Cauldron to put the War Master underneath, kill them. But I was pretty lucky. The opponent didn't have anything more. I mean, they played tons of cards, but yeah, you understand, they didn't have anything to kill me. So I was able to combo them off and kill them with Devoted Druid and War Master. And that's it for game number 1. We're going to game number 2. Game number 2 against Storm. I made a small mistake here, in case you haven't noticed. Instead of bringing in Dranith Magistrate, I actually misclicked and I brought in Sun Cleanser. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed by now, hi, I'm Musa and I'm very goofy. Land over Elves. Aral. When I see Aral, I know that turn I need to cast my Vexing Bauble, so they won't be able to cast spells for free using Aral's ultimate ability, the -8/1. Wish. And let's see what they're doing. Past in Flames. I can't do anything about that, because even if I did have any Endurance, I wouldn't be able to cast it because of Vexing Bauble. There are a few cards that have an anti-synergy in the deck. Vexing Bauble with Force of Vigor, as well as Endurance, is one of them. But yeah, the opponent obviously wished for the wear and tear, and here is death. Nice and easy, very quickly. I'm dead, and we're going to game number 3. Game number 3 against Dranith. Again, I didn't see it and didn't correct my mistake. So I have a Sun Cleanser that does nothing in my hand. That should have been a Dranith, and if this was a Dranith, the game would be over. The opponent does nothing at this point. Oh, okay. So yeah, why step back? Why not just go for the kill? And that's actually what I'm gonna do. But for some reason, because it felt so weird not to do anything on turn 2, because usually Storm always has a turn 2, or they have some type of interaction. First of all, with my Vizier, I'm going to get my... I'm getting a War Master, and then with Nature's Rhythm, I will use it too. I won't leave it like that. And whatever mana I'm using. And I'm actually going to get a Sanctifier just to be sure that nothing will go wrong in the future. In that point, you could also get Sylvan Safekeeper, would be a great option. I was mostly afraid of an Orion's Chant at this point. This is why I went for a Sanctifier, because it was so weird for me that the opponent did nothing in their turn, and they just played a tapland and go. So maybe they kept a hand just for a Brotherhood's End. This would make total sense. But it would be a very slow hand on their end. That's at least my belief. Because I've seen Storm playing off the deck, and they can do it so much faster. Anyway, that's it. Let's go to the next round. The last one. Last round. Unknown opponent. We are playing second. Even though I do not have white, I'm going to keep this hand because I'm playing 18 lands. What are the chances? 17 at this point, because I did have a forest in hand. What are the freaking chances I'm not going to draw a white source in order to play my Vizier? But instead of drawing a white source, meaning a Temple Garden or even a Lush Portico, I actually drew the second Vizier. So now, even if I draw my Nature's Rhythm or my Court of Calling, I can't do anything with them. So I'm like, okay, I really have to top deck at this point a land, and not any land, not a forest. I have to top deck a cavern, a Temple Garden, or in the worst case scenario, a Lush Portico. Again, here we're going to protect our things when needed with Sylvan Safekeeper. Just trying to kill my Heritage Druid does nothing, so I'm going to let them do it. So the second one aims for my Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm going to let them have it. But no, I did not draw. I should have protected my Safekeeper, to be honest. Because if I protected my Safekeeper, no, I wouldn't have lands. I would be in the same spot. Do you see death? This is how death looks like. And that's all because I didn't draw a second land, and especially a white land. Yeah, I just let them play out whatever they had in order to figure out what the opponent is playing. We got butchered game 1. We got a bit lucky too. So let's go to game number 2. Game number 2 against Eldrazi Tron. I ain't losing to Eldrazi Tron. And here you see another goofy moment of mine. I kept invexing Bulbul. I'm telling you, I'm a very, 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 very... how can I say it? Goofy player, very sloppy player. Here I decided to not use my Lush Portico, but I decided to actually progress my game by casting another Elvis Mystic. Here, Disruptor Flute, yeah, I won't do anything. No matter what they did, for example, here the Disruptor Flute, how you should do it, because the opponent concedes and you're not gonna see what they're gonna do. With a Disruptor Flute on the stack, you have tons of mana, enough mana to be able to Nature Rhythm for whatever you want from the deck, plus enough mana in order to pump enough to kill them. Then you let them resolve their Disruptor Flute, naming whatever they want to name, and you go and fetch the other one. What do I mean by that? Right here, they casted the Disruptor Flute in response to my Vizier because they thought that they would be able to... they didn't know that the Devoted Druid would be able to untap. To name Devoted Druid. I was able to create mana. So, what was the second play they could have? As soon as a Disruptor Flute came on the board, they could name one of my finishers, either Azuri or War Masters. So you let them name whatever they want, and you go and tutor with a Nature's Rhythm from the graveyard, the other one, and you go from there. That's it. Well, let's go to the last game of the league. Last match, and to be honest, it felt good so far, didn't it? You know, that's a great hand, isn't it? Double Kyrian Ranger. I had to bottom one of my babies, but it felt good, didn't it? I have this same feeling. The leagues have been going great because maybe people are testing. We lost to Energy because I misplayed very, very, very very poor plays. We would have won that game, by the way, against Energy. Game number 1 and game number 2. I mean, we would play second, but still we would be able to finish it. Here we go, Priest of Titania on Iskorn in exile. And what I did different this time, I removed both my cauldrons. Usually I don't do it, and I wouldn't suggest you did the same. I would suggest always keeping an Agatha Soul cauldron in. The reason for that is that Devoted Druid, you can sacrifice it, put it in the graveyard, and with Cauldron you can put it underneath. Furthermore, they do run dismembers too. So again, once more, Devoted Agatha Soul Cauldron can give you the redundancy you need. Obviously, it's bad against Khan, but still, I think it's a good play because you're able to kill the opponent way faster like that. Here we go, the opponent conceded. If they didn't concede at this point, I would go and get first, with Nature's Rhythm, a Sylvan Safekeeper, and then go off with my cord in order to go off. That's it. That was for the league. I hope you enjoyed it. I was lucky enough to record a Living End matchup, and I'm really looking forward to see how the meta will evolve. And I'll see you in the next one.